So let's get started. To submit work for Critique Hour. So how do I submit stuff to Critique Hour? How do I get my work critiqued? So go to istebrak.com first of all. Make sure that you bookmark my website. And then you see this little Reddit icon right here. Click on that and join us on the subreddit. That's where everything that goes on in this community, this is the center of it. This is where announcements are posted. This is where sales are posted. This is where community challenges are posted. This is where 14-day challenge is posted. This is where community critique happens for all members. So illustrations and getting your 14-day challenge critiqued, all of that happens here. This is the heart of the community. This is where I picked up the piece that I'll be looking at today. I picked up a big long list of them. I'll try my best to get to all of them as they are relevant, as the themes develop throughout the rest of the month and into February. And then there are some changes that have happened recently to my channel. The first and most important change is that full stream recordings are no longer posted on YouTube. They are shared unlisted. They're shared privately with my patrons of all tiers. It's not only for apprentices. If you're a $1 patron, you also get the full streams. If you were relying on them, if you were using them, I am sorry, but you know, I released them for a really long time at full length, years and years, 10 years, and now it's time for me to do some things for the benefit of my channel. For a long while I did it for you guys. I said, you know, fuck the channel, let me just focus on getting the content out there. But now that my channel is really exhibiting signs of slowing down, really bad, like it's really bad, the numbers are way low, it's time for me to kind of start following or giving into YouTube a little bit, and their new regulations for video length and monetization or whatever it is, whatever the reason, however they justify shutting a channel down like that. And yeah, so if you're a $1 patron, $1 a month, that's not $1 a day or anything like that. It's $1 a month for, you know, like $12 a year for around 6 to 8 full video critiques, full of art classes, you know, full of art lessons. So that's a pretty good deal. That's as cheap as it gets out here. But it's just mainly just to invite people to support the channel, inviting people over to give back to the channel, to keep the channel going. Maybe in 10 years I'll finally hit 1,000 patrons. I don't know. We'll see what happens between now and then. But thank you to everybody who has answered the call. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. It means the world that you guys believe in the channel enough to support it financially. That means the world to me. It keeps me kind of going because there were times in my health, you know, now I'm fighting off another batch of COVID, but when it first hit me, I was out for a month and a half to 2 months, and my patrons are what got me through. I could not do classes, I could not do anything, and you guys are the reason that I could allow myself to rest so that I could be back doing this. My patrons have my back in a very big way, and I really just, I want to thank you guys, especially. I try to thank you with the rewards I give every month, but even then it doesn't feel like enough because of the security that you guys provide me in my channel. And then that's it for announcements, really. Portrait Studio is still on sale. It will no longer be on sale by the end of January, so you guys have until the 31st to get it at that $10 or $5 off, that top off sale. It's already on a sale price, but that really lowest it'll ever be in the year is going to be ending on Monday the 31st, or you know, it's going to be over by Tuesday. That's it. Let's get into it. So any questions at all? Oh, thank you. 10 years of teaching and over 600-hour-long lessons. You're allowed to do premium now. Thank you. You deserve to be paid well for everything you do for the art community. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That means the world. Thank you. So let's talk about this piece. I'm going to get the character out of her background really quickly. So is the artist with us today in this seance? Are you with us? Are you here? Yeah, it's you. Oh, so you stayed for the critique and got a critique. There you go. Dodge, there you go, buddy. All right. Oh, is it? Oh, it is. Oh, okay. We're calling from the beyond. We're calling from the mundane world. Can you hear us? Can you feel us? Can you smell us? Okay, stop it, Istebrak. It's not after hours. Just chill. Alright. And I'm just going to why does it sound like Alan Watts is doing the seance? And then I'm gonna just figure out what in the doohickey is that glowing thing, but we'll see in a second. We will see. All will be revealed in time. Okay, so yeah, every time I raise my Synthroid prescription, I have to warn you guys, I've been doing this for years, that I stutter more when I raise my Synthroid medication, my thyroid medication. So I stutter like a son of a, you know. So yeah, I'll probably be stuttering quite a bit until I can lower it again once the world gets warmer. But I'm sorry about stumbling over my words so much. I'm gonna select her and kick drop her right out of that layer and enlarge her. She's the main character. She's the main thing. She's what it's all about. So why don't we focus on her? It makes sense, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is just correct the background. Figure out what we're doing over here. I'm going to just raise everything back up to some nice values. Maybe I'll just redo the whole thing, because the problem here is that we want the veil to look like a veil, you know, so we have to use opacity. Whenever you're trying to do see-through fabric, please use opacity to your advantage. Use it. You can do it. You can just paint the fabric as you would, and then lower the opacity for it. Sorry, one second. I'm like trying to compute 3 tasks at the same time. Background window. So let me see what I can do for that first, because I'll need that in order to pull off the completed silhouette. So I know where the bloom is. I know the window frames and how best to lay them out so they really complement her silhouette, and we're framing the right thing. Okay, so that's where that is. And it means that I have to, I believe I have, but let me just do it one more time. Delete. Okay. Alrighty, so now we have 3 layers. We have the veil, that, and that. What I'm going to do now is just make some simple window lines over here. And then tilt them as you did, blur the layer, and then let that decide where the original, let me see, have I saved yet? So how did you do the windows? Just a simple crisscross? Okay. A thinner line in the middle. Oops. And then let's just divide it into thirds. Or whatever's. Whatever you call this. Alright. And then tilted. Enlarged in some way or other. And then filter. Blur. Gaussian blur. Really blur that window. Bring the character back in. And the window's too blurred. Let me bring her in first. Alright, so what I want are non-tangents. I want to look out for where I can complement the figure. And I can't do that until I can blur afterward. Alright, so what are people saying? Painted out the pillar to get rid of unnecessary focus, or unnecessary space, not focus, unnecessary a dead space. Dead space is the opposite of focus. That's not why I deleted it. I deleted it because it was just dead space taking up the room. And I could have enlarged her. Enlarge the character to make her the focal point. Good. Darken her to silhouette her against the light background. Use a color layer to harmonize the colors. And use darken on a color, on also a color. I darkened her with a color. Remember that I'm still attempting to balance colors even with the darken layer. I'm going to strengthen her silhouette here because this is an overlap edge. It's no joke. It's not fucking around over here. This is a real edge. So we got to clean it up. I'm just using my awesome blocking brush. Not even shameful plugs anymore. It's absolutely shameless. I'm just over here telling you guys to buy my brushes. Or write notes. Either way, you get the brushes. And it's okay that we have strands up here because of the focal point. We're close to it, so we don't have to worry about disrupting the focal point or anything like that. Not sure why this is so washed out. I don't even know if that's hair. I'm just going to pretend it's part of her outfit. Make it symmetrical on the other side. Okay, and then what I'm going to do now is just figure out the fabric and then get back into that that whole thing going on over here. Let me smudge it. So the key to fabric, do you want to know what makes it look cool and realistic? Is just layering. Layering, layering, layering. Layer as much as you can. So we've got this first layer, and what we're doing is we're taking advantage of the actual, so typically what it should have looked like is more opaque. So I'm going to multiply the layer, like multiply many layers, and then merge them. And then lower their opacity. And then get a second layer. And let that also sit in there. Lower that opacity. Filter, blur, gaussian. So this is a trick more so than actual fabric anatomy, but it works. And then get another layer. This one's going to be a light layer. And it's going to be in the shape of the relief in between two pieces of fabric. So it's going to try to take this shape of the crevice of two fabric pieces. Which is tricky because if you don't have a brain, like me, you can't do it. So make sure you have your brain. I don't know why I can't do this. I don't know why it's just not coming to me. I don't know. Let me try it over here. Alright, so I'm going to just choose a white piece, lower the opacity, and then filter, blur. And then you just mess around with different blur levels. And what you're creating, the effect you're creating is, see, we could have added a couple more of those light pieces here. For instance, like right there. You can instead of using lasso and gambling, you could just do a much better job actually hand painting them in. I'm just using the ones you already picked as a guide. I don't know why I can't get this one. I think that should do it. And again, I'm just picking the light color, lowering the opacity, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just selecting, you know, which look best at which level. And just moving through them until they look fine. So we've got that layer, we got that layer. I'm not one to always support layer use, but when it comes to really fine fabric that's hella layered, I usually support, you know, layer abuse. because every single layer of that fabric is experiencing a different level or a different combination of relief and release and fold. So we just layer them until we get the effect we want. You could also just paint the whole fabric in a separate layer, fully complete it, and then bring it in. I'm actually going to get rid of the extra ones I added and maybe take them. Take them over here. This one could use a darker veil. Filter, and then I'm darkening this one for the sake of the edge of the canvas as well. So filter, layer, gaussian. But remember, all the fabric sources from something, and then you can even delete at the layer that you started yourself. So just make sure that the source of the deleting goes back to that. And then if I can get away with it, I try to merge it all and then just make them 2 simple layers. It actually goes a long way to simplify stuff. Let me just do it for the sake of the demonstration and see what happens. So layer 1 lowered, and then, because again that whole simplicity looks more professional, layer 2, and then maybe this one can get 3 layers, layer 3. It just feels more pro when you keep things simple. No, I don't want to add any highlight. And then I'm just gonna let my dodge tool do some work. On that that staff. And I believe that is it. So lots of changes. Can anyone run me through the biggest change we did? I don't know what that shit is at the top. I'll try to clean that. I don't know why when you resize something, Photoshop does not understand what to do. Alrighty. Cancel. I'm just gonna go ahead and flatten now, I think it's time. I want to show a little bit more of that light this way. And some of the light peeking through the fabric. Let me flatten and just show where it might be coming through. Just in between that little enclosure I added, just wherever the light wins in that exchange. So if you make good notes based off today's class and post them on a subreddit, you get free brushes. You get all my brushes for free. And one time, a couple times, someone posted such good notes with screenshots and rocket launcher attachments and everything, and they got Portrait Studio for free. So there are tons of opportunities for people who are financially limited to benefit from this channel. All right, I don't like this little band on the hair at all. I feel like it could be improved, but so it's exactly the same illustration we started with, but a little bit more organized, a little bit more clean, more leagy, but not that that's a standard for anything, so before, you see how that big black piece here was just insane. It was just taking up the whole scene. The window wasn't really getting its, you know, a window is beautiful, and the sun through a window is even more beautiful. So play with it after. And then the fabric was way too overworked. You know, the fabric after, you don't need to do a lot at all with it. And you could have inversed it. You could have made it white multi-layer fabric. That also could have done something. So before, character is tiny. This entire area is just untapped real estate right here. You might as well have cropped it. Oh, the gem is even bigger. Oh, I've already made it a little more modest. And it was purple, it wasn't pink. So let me correct that. It was like a bluish purple thing. There you go. There you go. Now it feels more like So before, after. I hope today's class was good. It's about the balance and the beauty of what am I trying to say? It's about being organized. Organization is great because it really helps you present more professional, more clean work. Don't leave big blotches of absolutely nothing sitting around in your canvas. Come on, you could have figured that one out on your own. Simple, less is more. Less is so much more. This is an example of that. Always prioritize the light. The light is the main thing in the scene. So if it needs you to darken your character, don't freak out. Just darken your character. Your character will thank you. The illustration will thank you. Respect the light. Give the light its demands, and it won't hold your character ransom. It'll give it up. Never seen Ista use so many layers. Yeah, for splash critiques, I really almost always do. But this one had veil and fabric that was see-through, so I had to mess around a little bit with layers. Yeah, the blue does look better. It really does. And then what else? Framing the canvas can be done with a simple gradient. You don't have to do a lot to frame the canvas. You could have done a bit more. You could have added a lot more up at the top and the bottom, but that's really it. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope today's class was fun. If you want to submit your work for Critique Hour, let me talk about really quickly Whale Critique next week. So this one is something that I want to have everybody involved in. This has zero story. This has almost like zero story. She's got a little diamondy thing, so she kind of looks like a princess. But other than that, she is less than one-dimensional. She is half a one-dimensional. There's nothing going on. So what I want to do next class, or one of the classes that are coming up, is ask you guys what kind of story you guys write, and then I illustrate it according to the story you guys pick. So that might be fun, because you guys get to decide what the after story does. And then this one is really cool. You can talk about framing and picking a better angle, because that is not the angle that you need to pick when something is crawling towards you. When something's crawling towards you, quick question, buzz round, what is it called? Flash round? When something's crawling towards you, what's the best angle to pick for the camera? Is it long angle far away from the viewer? Is the viewer safely far away from the object, or do you want the viewer to feel like they're being approached? Doesn't POV sound a lot more logical? From below. Excellent, Leo. So what you want is a nice low camera angle with the object crawling towards you. That gives you a lot more, lets you have a lot more fun with the gesture and makes it feel more interactive. And what I'm going to do next time is actually pose this on Portrait Studio way before the class starts, so I don't have to use all that time, and pick the best angle. Actually sit there and just make a photography class happen and pick the best angle where we can mess around with the field of view or depth of field, and just see what angle is the best for something like this. Because if a character that just crawled out of the sea is crawling towards me and I want my viewer to feel the most out of this illustration, I will be taking a pretty low angle camera so that that character is crawling right towards the viewer, not at a safe distance where you could easily run away. This one is really cool also, and then this one's a nice environment piece. We can talk about space and depth. So that's what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Please make sure that you guys come to the streams every Tuesday and Thursday. I have been sick, so I kind of broke my promise with that. I'm so sorry. I didn't stream last Tuesday or last Thursday, but I'm feeling a lot better. Fingers crossed I stay better. But every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern time on twitch.tv/Istebrak. And if you want all these links, there are too many links to keep track of, go to istebrak.com, and they're all available right here, conveniently placed for you. The store is right here if you want to get Portrait Studio. More on that next week, or this week. No, next week. And Reddit is right here if you want to submit your work for Critique Hour. Please join on Reddit. Please support me on Patreon. Even if you just support for $1 a month, you still get this entire class for free. The whole class, well, not for free, but the whole class available to you, but only those who subscribe at $1 or more. All tiers get access to the full recording. And then the segments are posted to my YouTube channel. The Facebook group is here. It's not really used, but for those of us who still use Facebook. Twitter, I tweet every stream even after hours, so if you guys want to follow me there. Instagram for hot, fresh memes right out of the oven. If you want those memes, you need your meme fix, I got you every single day. Every single day I'm looking for memes on my downtime. I am never idle. So go to Instagram. I also host sketch challenges there, and I share the posts that are given to help you guys meet each other and all that. So if you want a little bit of free exposure. And then I don't know what this is. Joking. So that's Twitch if you want to follow me there. Thank you everyone for coming. I'll see you guys on Tuesday, hopefully, the 1st of February. And upcoming for the 1st of February will be the Critique Hour for the apprentices. Their homework, their diagnostic homework, is going to be due next week, Tuesday. So if you want to make it for that, join as an apprentice as well. You get all the rewards of all the tiers, but you also get assignments, and you get critiques, and you get the video time lapse, and then you get PSDs, and you get brushes. So it's a lot of stuff for $20. But again, thank you everyone for joining. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.